So I am going to now show you how to utilize the breakout rooms. And as you can see, I actually have, well, let me switch this around. So this is my computer, and then over here is going to be my iPad. So I'm imagining that this is my classroom computer, and over here is going to be that remote student, okay? So if I want to actually utilize breakout rooms, once I've got the feature turned on and I have that down here in the lower right hand corner near all my other settings, when I click on breakout rooms, this box is going to pop up where it'll give you two options. Do you want Zoom to basically sort people into breakout rooms? And I'm going to imagine for a second that, let's say I only have one remote student over here, okay? And off to the side on my iPad. So this remote student, and you want to pair this remote student up to another student who's in the classroom. So this student's already on Zoom. I'm going to have that other student who is in my classroom also on Zoom. And in this case, it's going to be really simple. I just need one breakout room where I want that student in remote land, as you can see me pointing here, as well as the student over here who's in my classroom. I want them in a Zoom room or a breakout room so they can collaborate, talk, discuss, whatever it may be, while the rest of the class is also discussing, and then we can come back together as a large group. That way I'm pulling in that remote learner into the partner discussions if it's possible. So it's going to be really simple. I only need one remote room, but instead of choosing automatically, I'm going to choose manually, because I want to determine who else is going to be in that Zoom room. Now I could also do automatically, because if I only have two people, it's going to put them in the same room together. But I only need one room. So we're going to create the number of breakout rooms. So the way this is set up, think of it kind of like this. What you see here off of my laptop, the Zoom that's on my laptop, that's like my main classroom. And so what's over here for the breakout rooms is actually going to be kind of like those little collaboration rooms that are located in that elementary hallway. Those are separate Zoom rooms, right? So that's a space for them to go to be able to collaborate and discuss without necessarily being a part of the larger class. So really simple. We only have one breakout room. And what I can do is I can assign people to that. So when I click assign, it's going to bring up all the people that's currently on Zoom, which is only my iPad. So I'm going to select that. And then if I also have that other student that's in my class on Zoom on their iPad, then I would also assign them to this particular room as well. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and say, now I'm going to open up the rooms. I'm going to let them go into that room. And I'll show you what you see on the other end. So when I click open all rooms over on my iPad, it gives me a little option to join the Zoom room, or sorry, the breakout room. So I'm going to go ahead and join. When I join that room, you will see that now it's just me, because the other participant is no longer in my main class. They are now in that breakout room. But one really cool feature that I have, if I want to be able to use this as part of the management between the remote learners and the face-to-face learners, if I just want to check in digitally, I could certainly walk up to the kid that's in my classroom who's in that breakout room with that student and be like, hey guys, tell me what's going on. That's probably simplest. But let's say I have more than one kid that's in remote land, and I do know there are some teachers that do have that. Then let's say I have two different breakout rooms set up. I, as the teacher, can actually go and join that breakout room, which means it'll take me out of the classroom and it'll actually have me go into that little room. That's like almost kind of cloning yourself, where I can still stay in the classroom. I'm thinking I could stay in Mrs. Kramer's classroom if I'm Mrs. Kramer the teacher, but then now I'm going to jump into across the hall to one of those collaboration rooms and check in on that group of students at the same time, which is kind of cool. So I can go ahead and join in on them. And right now it is just simply joining the breakout room. And on my end, on the iPad, which is the student, you will be able to see up there in the upper right hand corner, has a little video effect, but you'll be able to see that now, hey, someone's joined my room. Hey, teacher, how's it going? Yep, we're working on what we're supposed to be working. Here's what we got so far. Great. So as a teacher, I can go down here to the lower right hand corner, and I'm just going to leave the room. Three options are going to pop up. Choose the blue button. You are only going to leave the breakout room. So now I'm going back to my main classroom, which is here. And this is where I can now use this to teach the rest of the class and so forth. Everybody's coming back to this main room. And with my breakouts button, I still see that the breakout is still happening. Well, I'm like, hey, where was that one remote student? Well, they might still be in that breakout because they can still go back. They can leave the breakout. For example, if I tap on my screen, there's this blue button that says leave. I tap on that, leave the breakout room, and there we go. Now I see that this student is no longer in the breakout room and they are in fact a part of the main classroom, right? So it takes some getting used to utilizing that feature, the breakout room feature. It's just kind of nice because if there were some people out there in in a breakout room, I could also broadcast a message to everyone that's out there. Be like, hey, we're gonna bring it back together in 5 minutes or something like that. So as we're in that little room, it's almost like you're telling the kids across the hall, hey, 5 minutes, make sure you come back to the room. Okay. You can also just go ahead and close all the rooms, and when you do, it gives them a 60-second countdown to come back to your main classroom. So breakout rooms is a really handy feature. I've met with a few teachers already, and this was just one question they had is like, okay, what is a way that I could use the breakout rooms, or the best way to use the breakout rooms if I do have a remote learner? And my answer would be, rather than, let's say you have 2 kids out there remotely, and you want them to do a think, pair, share, right? Well, doing a think, pair, share with each other all the time isn't really quite switching up the partners. So what I might do if I had 2 remote learners, I might say, okay, Billy and Sally in my classroom, go ahead and jump on my Zoom link, and Billy, you're going to be with remote learner number 1. Sally, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with remote learner number 2. And now they are paired up. The goal is always to make sure that those remote learners are cognitively and socially engaged in learning, so they just aren't just a fly on the wall. So that's one way. If you have questions about that or need some help with that, of course, you can talk to myself or Ann, the instructional coaches, and we'd be sure to set a time up with you to kind of walk through that, or maybe even to kind of play that role of the student, as you can see with my iPad, just to see what's working on your end, so that way you kind of know what's working on the end with the remote learner as well.